Hello, this is Much Limited. I've got my Nvidia back. And I think things are going pretty damn well, too. So, happy Saturday. At least that was the day I'm making this. Because just felt like it, why not? So yeah. Alexa, set timer for 1 hour.
1 hour, starting now.
Let's time pass. Oh, right, need to watch Kurdistan like a hawk. While I have my sausage. And I deport Chechens to Tajikistan. Now I transfer Karakalpak, Autonomous Soviet Socialist Republic, to the Kazakh Socialist Republic. Having being a part of the Uzbek Socialist Soviet Republic, the Karakalpak Autonomous Soviet Socialist Republic will be transferred to control of the Kazakh Soviet Socialist Republic. Pakistan. I think it's Pakistan, not Pakistan. Is this region, Nukus and Uttarek, or the Khiva region. I think. Yeah, I think this is originally where Khiva was. So this is going to be going to Kazakhstan. Pretty damn cool. Let's continue on. East Austria, or Österreich, embraces denazification. Today, in the wake of the growing fascist violence, the Austrian Democratic Republic announced a wave of sweeping political reforms aimed at cleansing the nation of all physiological and psychological relics of National Socialism. Already many statues alluding to German supremacy or Austrian nationalism was torn down. Strict laws around Austrian history were put in place, and suspect fascist sympathizers have disappeared from public life, while many dissidents believe these acts to be just as fascist as the intended target. Many have pointed out this since embarking National Socialist paramilitary violence and hate crimes have plummeted. Progress. Damn it. Oh, sucks to that guy. The Karakalpak Autonomous Soviet Socialist Republic transferred to the Kazakh Soviet Socialist Republic. With a new look of the map. The Soviet Union recently announced a policy of reorganizing Soviet Central Asian Soviet Socialist republics to reduce potential for ethnic and cultural conflict and ensure nationalities are represented by their own government. As part of this effort, the Karakalpak Autonomous Soviet Socialist Republic will be ceded to the Kazakh Soviet Socialist Republic. This returns a large Kazakh population back to the Kazakh Socialist Republic. It is also being seen as a way to keep Kazakh socialism relevant, as much of its territory has being transferred to existing new Soviet Socialist republics, the German one and the Russian Federative Soviet Republic. The dramatic territorial changes and population exchange have completely disrupted the region, and many Soviet citizen regions are no doubt wondering what the future will now hold for them. Interesting. Now, I can't even do that, it's not in close to time. Before I do the sorting out the Turkic SSRs, I'm going to do focus.nochecks. Next, complete first hack of the day, I know, and I failed it. Focus.nochecks. There you go. Get the Korean SSR. According to the high Korean population and refugees fleeing the Korean War, we will establish a Korean Civil Socialist Republic in Pavlodar and East Kazakhstan. Where the hell is Pavlodar? Not here. So here and here. I mean, I've already got a German Soviet Socialist Republic because of the amount of German citizens that are in the two regions of North Kazakhstan and Akmola. So I see why not. So before we set off, Kurdistan has decreased infiltration standards, we already know that. Turkey is expanding submarine development. Greece is liquidating the Greek mafia. Bulgaria is empowering people's militia. You're doing the same thing as last time. You're getting hydroelectric dams. You're getting a new economic policy. You're strengthening state security. You're expanding weapon production. You're opening Holocaust museums. You're cracking down on Democrats. Not what I wanted. You're debating executive powers. In East Turkestan, you're inviting Soviet advisors. In Mongolia, you're condemning Choibawasan. In China, you're damming the rivers. In Korea, you're emulating the Soviet model. In Japan, you're supplying South Korea. Yeah. In Vietnam, you're landlord class side, you're doing egg carrier reforms in Laos. In Burma, you're outlawing opposition parties. 1, 2, 3, 4 from communist Burma to be realized. What's it be? Indonesia, other than being Soviet line, which support, you're optimizing mechanized production, but you don't have focus tree. In Arabia, I think that was the guy that I was supposed to be checking out on Arabia. Yeah, that was the guy I'm supposed to be checking out. There, so we have no idea. But anyway, continue to watch Kurdistan like a hawk. Hoorah. Well, two things. A, democracy's back in Syria, and B, America's joined CENTO. The United States accepted the invitation to join the Central Treaty Organization and no longer be the observer. This gives the organization much access to Western aid and reduced the burden on Britain to meet the needs of CENTO. The CENTO members are said to be thrilled with the announcement and look forward to hosting your senior American officials and further conferences. For the United States, a strong CENTO will protect its interests in the region and provide its strong allies to combat anti-Western or communist-friendly regimes. Critics in the region are condemning the actions, calling for proof of CENTO is the imperial project, joining the organizations with lesser the need to support the Israelis directly and achieve our objective. Our membership may help transform the organization into true NATO for the Middle East. Who's even in CENTO? Ugh. Anyway, back to this and eating my sausage. The Korean Soviet Socialist Republic. The Soviet Union is a part of its efforts to reorganize the Soviet Central Asia and restore homogeneity in the Soviet Socialist Republic. Now, the establishment of the Korean Soviet Socialist Republic. The land for a new entity is being taken from the far eastern territory of Kazakhstan's Soviet Socialist Republic. The population will consist of existing Korean communists in the area, Sankalan Koreans, and a large number of communist Korean refugees who fled Korea from the Korean War. The Soviets hope its policy will reduce the possibility of ethnic or cultural conflict in the region. What a twist. So yeah, the Korean Socialist Republic. People aren't going to be happy about that. Focus.no checks. Have that disabled. Sorting out the Turkic SSR Soviet Socialist Republic mess. The Turkic Socialist Soviet Republic, including Tajikistan republics, include Tajiks, Uzbek, Kazakhs, and Kyrgyz Socialist Soviet republics, are in dire need of fixing and reconstruction to accommodate the moving populations from around the Soviet Union. Before we blast off, Kurdistan, if you saw, has found the People's Defense Force. You're still doing the same as last time. You're ignoring growing distance. You're purging Yugoslav influence. You're expanding the Alita naval yard. You're increasing consumer good production. You're allowing cultivators to leave cooperatives. You're rehabilitating Patriorescu. You're doing the same as last time. You're expanding light industry. You're expanded Beirut's mill, and you're creating the National People's Army. You're collectivizing agriculture. You're getting Chinese economic aid. You're getting transport investments. You're doing the same as last time. You're doing a communist thing and dissolving the Zaibatsu. I think the Socialist Party has won the new election. Yes, they have. Well done, lads. That's what we like to see. Socialism in Japan. You're abiding by the accords. You're getting the peoples of last nations. You're silencing react press. So last stuff you did last time. Wait, no, I think you did that last time. So we're getting close to communist Burma being fully realized. Yes. You don't even have really got a focus tree, so you're just doing the same as last time. I have no idea, but you have done the new constitution, so it's either secular values or the equal rioting. I hope the Khalid Muad'Din coup happens. That's the best bet for us. Anyway, continue to watch Kurdistan like a hawk. Got that. That'd be RPG 7. Boris Bunyani's been arrested. He was not the one in. There he was. Well, if we knew. I think you were in Yeah, you were in Burma. And you were in North Korea. You're getting the insured right to work. Two more, baby, come on. Alright. The massive population exchange across Central Asia. Massive population exchange across Central Asia. The Soviet Union is currently conducting one of the largest population exchanges in history across Central Asia in an effort to apparently preserve ethnic homogeneity and to prevent potential sources of unrest. All the major ethnic communities in the region will be moved to their ethnic homeland. The Kazakhs in all the Soviet Central Asian states will be moved to the Kazakh Soviet Republic, or the Uzbeks will move to the Uzbek Soviet Republic. Soviet officials insist its actions are being welcomed by those moved, who are thankful the state has stepped in to unite them. However, anti-Soviet activists claim that deportations are uprooting communities who have lived for generations across the region, and promote ethnic rivalries between the different states. Well then. Transport Central Asian Ukrainians to Ukraine. Good. Alright, continue to watch Kurdistan like 4. Chem lights collected. Get chemical spectrosis. What of the other allies? You saw what Kurdistan is doing. They're opening archaeological sites. You're launching a 3-year plan. You're doing the same as last time, last time. You're buying portable anti-aircraft equipment. There is actually a large third position group coming in over in Austria, so I didn't check about that. Eurocrant LA9s. You're doing the same as last time. Same as last time. You're pursuing your own goals. God knows, but to be honest, all the stuff with North Korea has been dealt with, so they're probably doing either this, that, but a bunch of other things, pardon me. So my interest in there is all but ended. You're dissolving Zaibetsu. You're creating your workers' democracy, work very close. You're implementing land reform. You're still doing the same as last time. You're getting rocketry centers. No one knows what you're doing yet. Continue to watch Kurdistan like a hawk. Two things have happened. President Diem has been deposed. The Free Sects of the United Front managed to establish a unified command center early in the Battle of Saigon. This proved decisive and were able to capture key government positions and secure several major entrances into the city, hindering the military reinforcements of the Nyung Dime. News from Washington was unclear as the United States would not commit to supporting Diem, which saw several of his army commanders refuse to deploy forces against the sects. The heavy street fighting saw the sect gain the upper hand and drive Diem and his supporters out of the city. With the sects now in control of Saigon, they called for people to come together and help form a new government of national unity. A startling victory for France. So, French-aligned groups have taken over Saigon. I read about these, the Bien Mais, I think they're called, officially taken over. So basically the French-aligned group. So they're going to form their own government, then do this. They also legalized a bunch of parties, including the Kan Lao, which is the Christian party, basically, and was respectively Kuomintang, as well as some democratic ones. So, very interesting stuff happening there. The Austrian Labour Party splits. News out of Victoria. Australia has stunned the nation. The Victorian Australian Labour Party state executive expels 11 members from their own party, crossing the floor to Henry Bolton's motion of no confidence. The Liberal Party in Victoria now seems themselves the leading frontrunner in the state's upcoming election, and follows the wake of federal leader of the opposition Dr. Herbert Ver-Everett and his denunciation of the group as representatives of right-wing Catholic unions and the B.A. Santa Marina, the dominant force behind the Catholic social studies movement. Everett blamed a small minority of members, located particularly in the state of Victoria, whom Labour's lost in the 1954 election, after complications of the Petrov affair, in which Everett defended the Union of Communists against the reasoning of civil liberties and against Menzies' staunch McCarthyism, driving away the party's staunch groupers of anti-communists in process. expulsion of the Australian Labour Party has also applied federal House of Representatives as well. Menzies' government found themselves a clear position to strengthen their hold on power. What will the long-term consequences be? We do not know. But what we do know is that I need to still watch Kurdistan. The return of the Shah. No, it's not modern Iran, but I hope Trump does overthrow the Ayatollahs. No, it's the other Shah, Reza Pahlavi's dad, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. The Shah unexpectedly returns has been acclaimed by the Iranian people in its time of need. They rock on which to hold on to. This rock may as well be the heir of the 2,500-year dynasty. Interesting. So, we're going to salvage this situation. And so Operation Ajax happened. They went to salvage the situation, and is now finding a way to deal with the situation. They're either going to go democratic at the end of this, or possibly more communist, or more American aligned. I hope it goes more communist, to be honest. So, good luck for the show in real life and in this game. More important things are about to do. Still have no idea what you're doing. You got nothing else to do, so continue with this. Central Asian Ukrainians deported back to Ukraine. Ukrainians in Central Asia have been coming in waves since the early of the 18th century. A mix of volunteers and forced settlers moved to Ukraine from the Ukraine up from the Soviet era. Under Soviet rule during the 30s and 40s, the state forcibly deported tens of thousands more Ukrainians first. They are targeted kulaks. When the Second World War broke out, the suspected fascist sympathizers and collaborators were also deported. Now, the Soviet Union announced it plans it will begin deporting all Ukrainians from Central Asia back to Ukraine. The news will be especially welcomed by recent forced deportees. However, many thousands of you who have called Central Asia home for generations, they were probably unhappy with the planned deportation of the area, and it appears the Soviet Union is heavily committed to establishing and restoring ethnic homogeneity across its socialist republics, and to foster unity and prevent potential sources of unrest. What will come of this? We do not know. Hopefully good things. Anyway, since all of the Stalinist stuff is done, even the stuff I may have hacked to get, I'll get the development focus tree. The open new metallurgy plants. Rare earth metals are becoming more and more important for the production of high-tech electronics and advanced weapons and vehicles. Increasing our mining production ventures will benefit us greatly. So, Kurdistan, you're still doing the same as last time. You're repairing national railways networks in Turkey. You're utilizing mass media propaganda in Greece. You're strengthening Soviet relations. You're reforming the Sava Communist East Yugoslavia, or the Federation of Communists in Yugoslavia. You're getting artillery investments. You're expanding paramilitaries. You're lowering food prices. You're creating the Austrian pioneers, or the Österreich pioneers. You're industrializing Slovakia. You're doing the same as last time. You're getting the Jaworzno electrical plant. You're getting state atheism. You're making large modern factories. You're moderate liberalization. God knows. You're rivaling American interference. You're implementing land reforms for last time, accepting Chinese aid. Same as last time. And we don't have any other known communist others. Hey hum. Back to watching Kurdistan. Downplaying Turkish crimes against Kurds. I thought it was a bogus for if they wanted to rejoin Turkey, but no strange reason. The Bamil War. The Union de Population de Cameroun, or the Cameroonian People's, the Union of Cameroonian Peoples, or the Union of the Peoples of Cameroon, or something like that, published its Declaration of Independence, and pro-independence riots broke out in Douala and Yaoundé. Although French colonial authorities suppressed the riots and banned the UPC launched an armed struggle against the French. This escalated into armed resistance, sees the end of 6 years of tension between the UPC and the French colonial authorities. The French officials sought to curtail the UPC's influence and suppressing the voting and rejecting efforts to negotiate peace with Transition for Independence, but these tactics only pushed the UPC to war. For the UPC, despite having leadership and men deeply connected to French cultural educations under Niobe, they have engaged in more revolutionary paths. This is aligned with other Camerooni elite who still look at France and reject the UPC call for resistance. They prefer to achieve independence within the colonial system, another long and brutal war. So it will be. Anyway, back to Kurdistan. New metallurgy plants opened. Complete the Don-Volga Canal. The Don-Volga Canal is an important project vital to our agriculture in the south of the unit, and completing it will improve local infrastructure and food production capabilities. Good. West Germany joins NATO. West Germany formally accepts the invitation to join NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. This marks the major victory for the organizations. News of the announcement was coolly received in London, Paris, as many of these are suspicious of the rearmed Germany, even as an ally. The United States, however, warmly welcomes the news, calling it proof that Germany was rehabilitated and was willing path to democracy. For NATO planners, West Germany greatly strengthened the defense of Western Europe, both in terms of adding military power but also strategic territory. The Soviet Union is said to be infuriated by the announcement, accusing the United States and NATO of subverting any hopes for German unification and European peace. Unsurprising. Finally, the Democratic Republic of Burma been officially announced. Prime Minister Van King Dan Ton announced the Democratic Republic of Burma. Today, Prime Minister Van King Van Ton announced the dissolution of the Union of Burma and creation of the Democratic Republic of Burma. This news was shortly after the young communist was sworn into office. The electoral landslide had the BCP and the National Unity Front coalition, the Burmese Communist Party, the National Unity Front coalition, placed in almost absolute control of the southeastern country. After taking power, the Burmese Communist Party was able to outmaneuver the National Unity Front and cause the constitutional crisis, allowing them to consolidate absolute control of the country. And yet, all is not well for the new communist nation. During the political instability, ethnic groups and UNUN's loyalists have poured on the opportunity to claim rival governments across Burmese countryside. International terrorists already reported sporadic fighting across the Irrawaddy River, and atrocities on both sides are mounting. It is clear, despite the traumatic change leadership, Prime Minister Van King Ton will have to deal with many of the same problems like its predecessor was ousted for. Another domino falls. So, possible civil war in Burma I have to deal with. Cool. So, you can get peasant relief, new plots in Pian, refunding local schools, local clinics, nationalize remaining industries, irrigation problems, cooperatives, vaccines, and dealing with opium. You can also try and consolidate the nation. There's a bunch of things. So, well done, Burma. Before my master just died, need to check its charge. So, well done. In Kurdistan, they're doing the same as last time. You're broadcasting anti-Turkish media. You're doing the same as last time. Last time. You're acquiring MiG-15s. Same as last time. You get into 5 anti-campaign. Same as last time. No one knows. You're revealing American interference. You're accepting Chinese aid. You're infiltrating South Vietnamese politics, which kind of been just recently upended. I think it's very easy. We already know you're doing peasant relief. You're getting the Black Berets program, which I don't even know what that is. It's here. Hopefully there's an independent Cambodia. Apart from that, continue as always. No, you elected any socialist power, to my knowledge. Yeah. On. Continue to watch Kurdistan like a hawk. 20 minutes to run remaining on the video. Iraq's got its new king. Faisal II has been officially crowned. So we can make the Baghdad pack. You can also deal with Saudi Arabia. Which is kind of fun. Great for Baghdad backed. Basically Cento. Very interesting. The 5 Antis campaign. With the Korean War, opportunities were given in North China, which gave the rise of a new class of capitalists in Manchuria, who soon started to realize that they were not seen in friendly lives in Beijing. The 5 Anti campaign was soon launched, described as a all-out war against bourgeoisie in China. The aforementioned antis were anti-bribery, anti-theft or property, state property, anti-tax evasion, anti-cheating on government contacts, and anti-stealing state economic intelligence. Some companies started to send 1,000 confessions per day in order to rid themselves of any immense pressure of the Communist Party of China put in them. Parades of anti-communist activists went door to door, visit business leaders, generating immense psychological pressure. Mao said, "We must properly execute 10,000 of these to several tens of thousands of embezzlers nationwide before we can solve the problem. These are hundreds of thousands of suicides. These that were directly a result of campaigning where Chinese capitalists received no better treatment than foreigners." Interesting. Coronation of Faisal II. Today, Faisal II of Iraq achieved his majority and has taken his place as ruler of Iraq. Although he ascended the throne at the age of 4 or in 1939 following the death of King Ghazi, his father, the country that governed by his regent, the pro-British uncle Prince Abdul al-Ila, King Faisal II started the coronation by travelling in an open carriage led by a smally dressed cavalryman attended by Iraqi Majis. He entered the parliament with troops as attention in ceremonial uniform along the European lines. After addressing the Majis, King Faisal II took the oath of kingship and accepted the plea of loyalty from the Majis, the Iraqi people, by the President of the Senate. Following the ceremony, the king attended a massive reception where he hosted notable dignitaries, including the Duke of Gloucestershire. The European style uniform and practice throughout the coronation indicated that Faisal hopes to continue the policy of his uncle. Whether he can contain the rising threat of Pan-Arabism and Arab nationalism remains certain, as despite the magnificent ceremony, there are reports of Iraqis from middle-class neighborhoods claiming the coronation was expensive. In working-class, some Iraqis were put off by the event, where the king was surrounded by armed guards and not people of Iraq. Finally, the boy got what he wanted. Eliminate infrastructure bottlenecks. The state of our roads and general infrastructure, while being useful, will to slow national social advances, is a miserable setup for peacetime commerce and must be improved. Continue to watch Kurdistan, so two things just happened at once. We know what happened in Egypt, the ep8 rioting. So they're probably going to either, we also got secular views, they're either going to do this or that. The Islamic Brotherhood rioting in Egypt. After months of firebranding, the Islamic Brotherhood is currently participating in a massive statewide riot. The Islamic Brotherhood has since the first drafting of the Egyptian constitution despised the newly found republic. Their primary complaints are the secularization of the country and the liberalization of the Muslim faith under the political atmosphere of the government. Many leading theorists such as Said Qutb published works declaring that Egypt has become no longer Islamic and the state must be overthrown. Already rioters have taken over key regions or cities across Egypt and are destroying government property in mass. Government security forces clashed heavily with rioters in the streets. Stop them. Prince Faisal, the appointed Prime Minister. Following the coronation of King Saud, Prince Faisal took over the Crown Prince to his brother, the King. Prince Faisal served administrative posts as a military leader for his father, King Ibn Saud, and has extensive diplomatic experience as Egypt as Saudi's foreign minister. So they're going down socialist route. King Saud's ambitious project exaggerated spending has led to financial problems and public discomfort with government. In addition, radio broadcasts from Arab nationalist states denouncing the old Arab monarchy have gained increasing popularity among segments of the population. Fearing the current wave of Arab nationalism and growing public anger at government spending has led to factions of the ulama and royal family to band together. They have confronted King Saud and have demanded to place Prince Faisal to the post of Prime Minister. With executive powers, reluctantly the king has agreed and Faisal has become Prime Minister. Diplomats in Riyadh believe that many curtail the king's more impulsive decisions, but there is little doubt that his brothers will clash, and it is highly possible instead of acting as a check on the king's power, this may instead lead to larger infighting within the Saudi royal family. Only time will tell whether this appointment will restore Saudi prestige. Hopefully Prince Faisal will be able to restore stability. So we went this route. So it's either going to cause the Saudi revolution or dismantle the Saudi free officers. I hope we get the Saudi revolution. That's what I'm hoping for. Anyway, continue to watch Kurdistan like a hawk. Got the Kurdish pioneers. You've been captured. 12 minutes remaining. Got the Common Bulkhead. Another step in our rocketry program. Get nickel cadmium battery. Yeah, we need those. Nickel cadmium batteries. Crushing the Kuomintang Islamic insurgency. After the fall of the army of the Malik during the Chinese Civil War, the insurgency was established, being led by former general and veteran of Ma Bufang. The foundation of the insurgency was the fall of Ma Bufang during the Nanjing campaign. As soon as the many generals, most of them defected to the People's Republic of China. As the collapse of nationalist China was imminent, most of the former Kuomintang Muslim generals such as Ma Bufang, Ma Honggai, Ma Duji, and Bai Chongxi, and etc. all fled to Taiwan along with the government of the Republic of China, but Ma Bufang's subordinate officers remained behind in the province of Qinghai. Together, the last of the insurgents were crushed in the Yiwu, where over 700 insurgents perished in the battle as the People's Republic of China's flag flew over the town of Yiwu. Interesting. So Belarus, or yeah. The intricate bottleneck exists around the Union, and all Hoi4 chose one region to fix. Politics little infrastructure, but the region is not very beneficial. First, the Belarus rich and prosperous. The ocean is the largest SSR and burden with infrastructure. Finally, there is Jordan Social Republic Stan's home, which could also use it for things. Politics. Next, build new railroads. Building new railroads is good to improve regional infrastructure as well as make it easier to transport goods and troops. What's the rest of our union doing? You're ending a crisis. You're ending the Ankara riots. One step towards your first 5-year plan. You're reforming education systems. You're executing proxy CISO. You're expanding light industry. You're encouraging talent migration. You're approaching the golden team. You're getting naval infantry recruitment. You're founding the Ministry of Culture. You're improving living conditions. You're militarizing the OF for society, whatever. Militarization of the society, that's what it's saying. Poland is getting chemical institutions in Silesia. East Turkestan is urbanization campaign. Mongolia is dismantling a personality cult. You're bombing Kramoy. No idea. Your reunification of the Socialist Party. So I think they're just merging the Communist and the Socialist Party together. Or something like that, I have no idea. We'll see. Laos is expanding educational programs. Your recentrifying campaign. You're launching irrigation campaigns. You've done everything except the Al-Fire coup attempt, which either led to you outlawing slavery or establishing the Chinese Police College, or going a third front and becoming communist. How do you get the third front? Anyway, watching Kurdistan or creating Kurdish pioneers. 6 minutes to the end of the video. The recentrification campaign. After the radicalization of the land reforms and elements of the Communist Party of Vietnam, it hasn't taken long for executions and social isolation of landlords to begin, with the Politburo document being released and detailed to one landlord, one per 1,000 people, and total population must be executed on the grounds of them being landlords or otherwise collaborating with landlords. it has been estimated that 15,000 reactories and landlords are dead. The VWP has thus far started a campaign of rectification of errors after the execution of landlords, many of which had been falsely or wrongly sentenced to death. With three-phase operations, it has reclassified peasants and has restituted property that has been erroneously exploited or otherwise made unsuitable, making of suitable compensation for those mistakes. Furthermore, there have been reviewed inventory and concentrated reindoctrination of local people. Interesting. Okay, so there has been a coup in Yemen. I thought it glitched out. It hasn't. A successful coup in Yemen. Prince Al-Bir, the designated heir of son Imam Ahmad bin Yahya, succeeded in defeating a coup attempt against his father, the mastermind Lieutenant Colonel Ahmad Yahya al-Fayan. Concentrated his forces on besieging the Imam in Taiz. This allowed Al-Bir to bring his tribal supporters and seize the local armory and treasury. In Taiz, in addition to loyal soldiers of the Imam who had fled, joined Al-Bir, who soon broke the siege and arrested Al-Fayr. In San, the success of Al-Bir helped galvanize the government forces in the city, who quickly suppressed the pro-coup protests and detained the organizer. Prince Abdul Aziz Hamid al-Din, who Tayyar sought to place on the throne, has been detained. Imam Ahmad bin Yahya is said to be fuming at the betrayal of the military and brothers. Surprising. So even though he's been overthrown, Yahya al-Fayr is still in charge. So it's this one. So the new Imam is Abdullah Yahya Hamid al-Din. I thought it said, I'm getting way too confused. So either it has succeeded or it hasn't. Because there's two. I think it has succeeded, actually. Yeah, I think it actually has succeeded, so. The El Al Flight 402. Earlier this afternoon, an El Al flight from Vienna's Wien-Schutzwacht International Port, bound toward Tel Aviv Lod Airport, was shot down over the People's Republic of Bulgaria due to deviating from its planned course. The course of this deviation is unknown at the moment, but it has established that the flight flying at FL 180 left the Amber 10 airway and strayed 200 miles into Bulgarian territory. The aircraft had ignored warning being shells fired off by MiGs 158 15s, which had been stationed to defend Sofia. Pinchas Pen Borat, the man who led to the formation of Israeli Air Force for the AIF, 101st Squadron at Al-Din's died on board. That's tragic. Anyway. The execution of Sokse. In secret trial earlier today, the traitor Sokse admitted working for British terrorists conspiring with Bros Tito's leader of Pakistan Federal People's Republic of Yugoslavia, while purging have been stated results as a result of his pro-Yugoslav activities, and even the punishment for portraying Ixver Hoxha, whose state will be hanged by the neck till die. Long live the People's Revolution. Tensions in Trieste, as the many years of reconstruction, both the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia and the Republic of Italy, with a time to come for the matter of concerning the free territory of Trieste to be laid to rest once and for all, having been divided into two separate occupation zones. One of the zones A to be patrolled by British and American forces along the metropolitan area of Trieste. The other zone B, manned by the Yugoslav partisans, controlled the rural countryside around the city limits. Both Italian and Yugoslav governments, with the aid of the United States nations, have hopefully reached an accord regarding the continued policy towards Trieste. Concerning Alexa, stop. So that's where we'll leave it today. Trieste is possibly at the brims of a invasion. It looks like it's going to be given to I say looks. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be given to Yugoslavia. So before I go, I'll leave off of what communist countries are doing today. Yugoslavia itself is getting rapid economic growth. Albania is getting a 2-year plan. Greece is tolerating some private criticism. You're ending the crisis still. You're denouncing Islamic dominance in the region. You're expanding the Georgi Dimitrov shipbuilding plant. You're solidifying ties with Israel. You're reducing burdens of farmers. You're getting anti-fascist curriculum. You're empowering workers' councils. You're restoring Baltic shipyards. You're getting an ideological judiciary. You're still doing an urbanizing campaign. You're negotiating with Mao. You're still bombing Cuman. God knows. You're still reunifying the Socialist Party. You're returning wrongly seized assets. You're doing victory in the Civil War, even though the Civil War ended months ago. You're attempting to consolidate the nation. Your Hans Black Beret training. That's it. Oh, there is actually plans to. Is there actually? So there's Crisis 958. So that's when Algiers will become independent, most likely. So their callback goal, 1958, or they could compromise and the Pete Noir can actually get a country. I hope that's what happens. You're also going to dissolve the National Assembly. You're most likely going to do this way, where you're going to send General Massoud and arrest the FLN. Well, you're going to grant Tunisia independence, so that's good. So, your colonial stuff is happening in UK. The colonial section. I think it's by region if it's the UK, so Nigeria. You've got the action group, which, you're moving away, haven't really done anything. Alright, the focus tree's here. You got the Cana riots. You can go move the capital of Cana and do that. Yeah, you can partition Nigeria. That's gonna be very problematic. So I guess prolong the video just for this. There's nothing for. Oh, there's stuff here. Cool. So we're gonna get limited independence for the nation of Ghana. Alright. British Togo doesn't actually exist. French Togo doesn't exist either. British Cameroon didn't have a focus tree in the slightest. French Equatorial does not have a focus tree. French West Africa not have a focus tree. So at least I know where the French politics is going. It seems that Congo's already done its focus tree and it's basically just became a free state. So Belgian rule is still in Congo. RIP, I guess. You do not even have a focus tree. I have no idea what's happening in yours. No idea what's happening in yours. Things going fine there. No focus tree. No focus tree. Kenya. Has not decided to infiltrate that. Said got Tom Moboya. So sadly no communist. Kenya. You don't have a focus tree. You're going historical, it seems. Or for the most part, you are. Haven't done Buchanan Backlash. You don't have a focus tree because yours is connected to Rhodesia, which doesn't even exist anymore. It's been merged with South Africa. So you're definitely becoming a republic. So yeah, decolonizations are going exceedingly slowly, which I'm pretty sure it didn't really happen to start till the 60s anyway, so 60s, 70s. So can't wait for then. but still. Anyway, I hope you like watching it. Hope to see you next time. Hope to see you again. This has been Multi Limited signing off. Good day, goodbye, goodbye.